This is a chat to the professional, the show that has been designed to x-ray the activities of professional individuals and corporate bodies. My name is Martin Sobu, and as usual, I'm sure glad to be with you. Today on the show, we are going to be looking up to someone to provide some direction for the younger ones, and indeed, practicing professionals who possibly would have the intention, or who already have the intention of serving this great nation, or any part of Africa as it were. And we are talking about the founding chairman of Kresta Laurel. It's an engineering company, of course, and I'm sure you'll be shocked. A whole lot of you might not know the man behind this wonderful organization that has been into the provision of engineering services for many years now. But, well, you just have to hold your breath. We will be back to introduce our guest, and then we take it from there. Don't go anywhere. Alright, viewers, you are still watching A Chat to the Professional, the show that has been designed to x-ray the activities of professional individuals and corporate bodies. Like I mentioned to you in my introduction today, we have another big fish, a great professional, someone who actually made his mark in the professional circle, as a matter of fact, in engineering, before getting into politics. He is a well-known figure in Nigeria's political terrain. But of course, we are going to take this discussion from the beginning, what his experience has been like in the engineering world or the professional circle, as it were, before getting into politics. So join me now as I welcome to the show today, Gbenga Daniel, the immediate past governor of Ogun State. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure.
Yes. For a very long time, we've been trying to have this interaction, but politics wouldn't allow us to do that. I'm glad that today, at least, the stress of office has kind of given us the opportunity to track you down to be able to have this interaction. Because behind the governor, there are things that a lot of people do not know about Gbenga Daniel, being a professional, an engineer, a fellow, as a matter of fact, of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. So what was life like, in practice before getting into politics?
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. As you are probably aware, engineering hitherto have been the exclusive preserve of the civilized world. In fact, the difference between what they call developed and developing nations is the level of engineering activity, how the system is technically driven. Mm-hmm. So the feeling out there, therefore, is that black people have not done well, okay, especially in the areas of engineering. If you remember how the inventions came about and things like that. It is from that angle that one must look at a few things that have happened. Okay. We are not there yet, but I think that clearly my own belief is that there is really no difference between the brain of the white and the black man. It is just the application. Mm-hmm. I studied engineering at the University of Lagos under one of the greatest, scholars, the likes of Professor Awujobi, Professor Enahoro, Professor Adekola, Professor Orogun, and all of the greatest professors that you can imagine. And of course, at that time, if you know how it is here, University of Lagos was quite reputable with a few courses, engineering being one of them. So that is where one is coming from. And when I started working, first I had a short stint as a lecturer, and then of course I went to the private sector to work for a multinational company. My field of expertise is vertical transportation systems. Okay. In the university, it is called horizontal and vertical transportation systems. It's a generic description of movement of goods and people. When they are going up and down, we call them lifts. When they are going as in, you know, straight walkways, we call them walkways, escalators. When they are going at a certain incline, we call them escalators. And that's how we call them people movers. When you go into goods, you talk of cranes, all manner of cranes, you know, electric cranes, hydraulic cranes, and so on and so forth. And the extension of it is modern transportation system, the railway, which you know what has happened in it, from the old diesel engine to what we have, the electronic traction these days. So this is where one has entered the fray. The only thing I'm very happy about is that when we started, it was nearly impossible to have a locally based organization competing in those fields. And I was quite excited that Kresta Laurel Limited, that I founded by the grace of God, have today become probably the numero uno in that industries. As a matter of fact, by next week, we are getting the ISO 9000 certification. That will be the only company probably in this part of the world that has been so certified, which means that any job that company does, it's really the high, the peak of what you can, what you can talk about. So that's really some of the things that gives us joy, aside from the business of public service and politics that most people now know me for.
You know, I'm so excited about this because that's why I said the other part of you that people do not know. I mean, for a lot of the younger generation, when you talk about OGD, Gbenga Daniel, their mind goes to, okay, Ogun politics. But they never knew this part of you as a professional and as a core engineer that has really carved a niche for himself. And so it's been said and is widely accepted that once you are an engineer, there's practically nothing you might not be able to venture into. I want to see how your experience as a practicing engineer, you know, propelled you into becoming an icon in the political terrain in this country.
Well, you know that engineering is all about precision, about accuracy. Usually in engineering, when we say 2 + 2, the answer must be 4. Of course, in politics, it's not necessarily 4. So basically, part of the problems that we do have in our country is that we run an environment where what is obvious sometimes is not appreciated. So if you therefore are coming from an angle where you simply insist that there is only one answer to 2 + 2, it is common sense, it is elementary, it is 4. And you now operate in an environment where some people will say, well, it is 4, but now engineering has no room for better.
Yes.
And that is what you have in the political terrain.
Yes.
What I have done with the grace of God was simply to come with a straightforward, a pure heart into what we have to do. When an engineer sees a problem, he defines the problem, he appreciates the problem, he profiles the solution, he goes for the solution. And whether we like it or not, until we all agree to that simple, basic engineering definition or mathematics definition that 2 + 2 is 4, don't let us begin to say it is 4.5 or 6 or 7. We will not make progress as a country. The few progress that we have made in Ogun State between you and I is based on that conviction that we can identify a problem. People talk about building bridges, and they turn building bridges to a big deal. For me, there is no big deal in building a bridge. You do excavation, you do your phone work, you do the calculation of the steel that you want to put there, the concrete you want to put in there, you do the right piece of concrete, you put it there, it kills for 24 days, 27 days, 90 days as the case may be, and you direct your columns. and you now begin to put your beams on it. You leave room for whatever vibration gaps is required,
yes.
and then you dress the thing, the bridge is ready. So when I look at people then begin to talk of bridges as if they are building it with gold, I hear these billions and all of that. I say, what exactly is going on here?
And so, same with roads.
Exactly, with roads, because what is in a road? So some of those things are so simple for us who are looking at it from the perspective of engineering. But unfortunately, in this country, again, 2 plus 2 is usually
perhaps 6 or 7.
Yes. If we begin to do that, for instance, then people will not begin to give us the sort of cost that they are giving us for the kind of work that has been done. So I think at the end of the day, everything is come back to illiteracy in things that are basic. For each and every system that is there, in engineering we call it building it from first principles.
Yes, yes, yes.
So if you therefore want to sell me, for instance, a chair, you don't say this chair is a 1 million naira. I'll say how? Oh yeah, tell me what makes a chair. I'm an engineer. So this is the wood. This is the quantity of leather. This is the foam. All right, so this is the nail. This is what makes a chair. So let's calculate the materials you need to require to make the chair.
Yes.
Let's put your labor on your expertise. Let's put a price on it. The most expensive person in this country, by the time we pay you 5,000 a day, 10,000 a day, you do the work, the skilled person. So how many days do you put in a chair? So by the time I put it together, when you call a chair for me 1 million, I say, look, sit down.
Hold it there.
This chair is 50,000 cost. So what profit do you want to make? So if you want to make 100% profit, okay, multiply it by 2, let's go. So this chair, therefore, at best, I will pay 100,000 naira, not 1 million. Between you and I, that's how I ruled Ogun State in all of 8 years. That doesn't come easy. I know. It also comes with challenges of people whose perception of what they want to do in government is different. And you are looking at it on how you can maximize the limited resources
you have to achieve so much.
So if you want to do roads, you want to think of what a billionaire can do. How many roads can he do successfully? Not because, okay, somebody wants to just go and build one road and say, oh, because it's going to be durable. Durable for what? For generations unborn? What would they do if it's so durable? So there are so many things we want to look at. I hope I'm communicating.
Yeah, sure you are. You know, what you are just saying is a pointer to the fact that for you to be a successful leader, a great politician and administrator, you need to be an all-weather, if you permit me to use that word. Because it's just like broadcasting. You do not have to limit your knowledge to the works of art. If I need to discuss engineering or medicine, I need to read up. And that's essentially what you're saying. And unfortunately, that's what we seem to be lacking in our Nigeria's political terrain, is about all comers are fair, so long as you have the resources to throw around, you know, to give to the electorate to vote you into power, you are good to go as a politician. But hey, I think it's time for us to change the ways of doing things when it comes to leadership in this country. At this moment, we must take a break. Don't go anywhere, we'll be back. You're welcome back. You're still watching the show Chat to the Professional. My guest here remains the immediate past governor of Ogun State, southwest Nigeria, Otumba Gbenga Daniel, as he is known, but I call him engineer on this show because that's essentially what he is before getting into politics. He's tried to give an overview of his experience as a practicing engineer before getting into politics and how his practice of engineering came into the leadership, or if you like, rulership of Ogun State, as it were. But today, like I said, our emphasis is on how to encourage the young ones out there, and of course, the practicing professionals who indeed might even want to get into politics, on how to do things right. And so, sir, before we went on break, you know, I've listened to you, and I'm now going to get into specifics, because I'm one of those who marveled at the wonders of turning around the Gateway Stadium. And within the first few years of your administration, if you talked about sports in this country, people will gladly say, hey, Ogun State is the place to go. Now, how did you do the magic?
Well, it wasn't a magic. First thing first, all these challenges we have in the country today about insecurity, about unemployment, graduate unemployment, hopelessness among the youth and all of that is something that, with due respect, we had seen coming. And so in all of the period that we were in Ogun State, one of the things we said to ourselves was that anything that we touch, any project, any venture, anything at all, must have the capacity to touch the youth and create for them any kind of opportunity. We had it at the back of our mind when we look at what other countries of the world have done with sports. When we were growing up, our parents in this part would tell us, oh no, don't kick ball, when your others your colleagues are busy studying law and all of that. We had to face the reality even at that time that it has changed. That footballers who can play good soccer can actually make a career to the level that they can employ doctors, engineers, accountants, physiotherapists, So there is something that is there that we're not looking at.
Yeah.
When we also look at some of the people that the United States have recreated, you look like people like Mike Tyson and all those boxers. They were street boys in the streets of Chicago making trouble. And what did America do? It created from them a vocation through which, despite their limited knowledge, limited education, they can become something in life.
Yeah.
So that was really what we tried to replicate in Ogun State, and we then decided that we must engage the youths. So, and we really went out of our way into the streets and encouraged those of them who are making trouble in the streets to go and use their muscles to box and to use their knowledge to play soccer and so on and so forth. And that was what led us to some of the infrastructures that we quickly developed in Ogun State. And it paid a lot of dividends. Because anytime I look at even some of the international stars in European soccer, I see a few of them who came or passed through Ogun State in those golden years of sports in Ogun State. In terms of positioning, up until we came in, I think the best that Ogun State had done in any of the national sports festival was position 10. And when we hosted it in 2006, we came third, next to Delta and Edo, who are naturally, because of what Gbenga did in those days with the Afuze camp, who had become front runners. But we came to third. And when the feat was repeated in Kaduna, we came second. And I was particularly happy that in the 2006 games, we won the gold in soccer, male and female. And all of those people now have become something in life. Regrettably, the state has since retrogressed to those days where we're not doing well in sports. But the beautiful thing is that the infrastructures are there. We inherited one stadium, the MK Abela Stadium, derelict. We upgraded it to a FIFA certified stadium. Then we built 3 other stadia. The one in Ijebu-Ode, in Laurel, and in Shagamu. Now, those stadia that I mentioned are all FIFA certified. But let me shock you, the totality of the cost of those 4 stadia is not even up to the cost that another colleague said he used in building one stadium. Wow. I don't want to mention names. Each of those stadia cost us 1.5 billion naira.
Wow.
Each of them deliver with the latest technology, public address system, public television system, everything that is required. So much so, when Jakwana visited in 2008, he said he came to Ijebu-Ode, he was excited. They didn't want to give us the hosting rights. And they came to Ijebu-Ode that we built, and so United States, Spain, Argentina, all played in Djibouti.
Yes.
You know, and those FIFA certified stadia, the 4 of them in Ogun State, which approximate 1.5 billion each. That was 4.5 billion for 3, and the one that we renovated, we spent about 700,000. So, but then we look at those 3 that we built at 4.5 billion for the 3. And I know of another location where one stadium, the capacity is not even up to our capacity, was built for 15 billion. Okay, so those are the sort of things that we feel proud of.
Yes.
And it is also from the perspective of what I told you about engineering.
Yes.
I mean, you don't just pull a wool over our face in the name of, you know, if we are able to achieve a little bit of that, automatically corruption will have been reduced in this country. It can't be completely eliminated, but it will have been at least reduced to, permit me to say, reasonable proportion. Quite unlike the sort of thing that
you know, one thing we don't understand is that corruption is endemic. I mean, it's everywhere. It's all about having machineries put in place to checkmate, to ensure that when you're caught, you know, you pay dearly for it. We're actually running out of time, but you just said something about the youth that strikes me, because we strive towards encouraging the youth. Do you think we have taken it from even our education system to after graduation? Do you think we have enough programs? Yes, they say we are the largest economy in Africa. Yes, they say Nigeria is full of opportunities and the #1 destination for investment in Africa. But we have so much unemployment. Do you think we have enough for the youth, you know, to ensure that they mature into responsible adults?
Definitely not enough. And we're not also making enough efforts. We just spoke about sports, about some of the things that we try to do. The other thing we tried to do was, first and foremost, we tried to review the kind of education. You probably will have heard that in the course of my tenure, we established 4 ICT-based polytechnics. Because we felt we established the Djibouti Polytechnic, ICT-based, the Sharpali Polytechnic, ICT-based, the Gbesa Polytechnic, ICT-based, and the one in Ewekoro, ICT-based. The whole essence of this is to begin to slowly, gradually open our eyes to the potentials of ICT in terms of employment generation. Because we recognize the need to get the younger people employed, we now aggressively look for people who can come and set up industries here. And in doing that, for us, we are not looking at short-term gains. If you want to set up industry in Ogun State during my tenure, I was ready to give you the land free of charge. Because my immediate challenge at that time is not making money from you, but putting you in a position where you can quickly engage a few hundred graduates who are roaming the streets, who are becoming security risk. And we feel that, okay, when you've settled down, you've built the industry, you've employed my people, then I can come back to you and start taxing you. So what I don't get from you by giving you cheap land, I now get it from you when I now come to slam you tax five years later.
Yes.
And that really was the sort of thing that we were running in Ogun State at that time. So much so that there was a time that I was boasting that there is no employed person in Ogun State, that if you are unemployed in Ogun State, you are lazy. They should bring the person to me, I'll create jobs. And I meant it, and I was doing it. So between you and I, therefore, in answering your question in a straightforward manner, the biggest cancer facing our country today is that our parents struggle to send their wards to institution of higher learning. In the Southwest, it is an issue. Parents will fast. They will go hungry to pay school fees to get their children, you know, educated. And after all of that, they now face trauma. When that child is, even it's better if the child is even in school. But when that child has now finished and he is now sitting home with his parents, and there is no hope, there is no job, he becomes despondent. The ones who are female become semi-prostitutes. The ones who are male now begin to look for one thing or the other to do. And until we look at that as a main cancer facing our country, all this, I laugh. One governor says, oh, he has bought 10 APCs, and he has provided 100 police vehicles to fight crime. What is he going to do? In Ogun State alone, every year, from the tertiary institution in Ogun State alone, every year, close to 100,000 graduates come out. Every year. 100,000 graduates from tertiary institutions, from secondary schools, and they have nothing to do. So if you like, you can go and buy 500 APCs.
Yeah.
It's not going to solve any problem until you face the endemic problem, which is to actually
create jobs.
That really is the way I have looked at it.
All right. I know that even 3 episodes might not be enough to, handle the things that we need to talk about. But so far, so good. It's been my pleasure chatting with you. You must accept what we call the professional handshake on the show. This is to encourage the young ones out there to be like you someday.
Thank you very much.
So, viewers, don't go anywhere. A chat to the professional returns after this break. Please stay. You have heard it from the horse's mouth, as they say. Gbenga Daniel is by no means a little figure when you talk about both engineering and politics. Well, if you like as well, you could broaden it to include business when you talk about the business world or environment in the entire continent of Africa. He indeed has made his mark. He made his money before getting into politics. And of course, because he had something to fall back to after leaving office, he was able to gracefully bow out of office and get back to what he knew how best to do, which is engineering services. And he's back to Kresta, Laurel. Don't forget our mentorship program, and come August, we are moving to the Caribbean. You'll be thrilled, you'll be amazed, where we have, in a little country of less than 70,000 people, we have nearly 300 Nigerians studying medicine. Did I hear someone say, wow, yes, that's the way it is. But we'll be unfolding more in the weeks to come. Don't go anywhere. Other programs come after this show, but for now, I'm signing out from A Chat with the Professional. I remember Martin Sobu saying stay blessed, and I'll see you again.
A Chat with the Professional with Martin Sobu. A Chat with the Professional. A Chat with the Professional with Martin Sobu. A Chat with the Professional will make you know more about the society.